The show off. The show for people who want to find out who they are, then do it on purpose. And here is your host, Janine Coombs. Welcome to another episode of The Show Off. Today we have the amazing Mel Barfield. Mel is managing partner and brand voice lead at the copywriting agency Copy or Die. She also hosts the Indie Business Club podcast for freelancers, founders and business owners, and is an event speaker and freelance magazine columnist. What doesn't she do? Welcome to the show, Mel Barfield! Yay!
What doesn't she do? My husband would answer the cleaning the house and cooking dinner, because those are jobs that fall to him.
You know, so, you've only got two hands.
I've got two hands.
You know, one pair of hands, that's all you got. And as we briefly chatted about, I have a chest infection at the moment, so I might cough a little bit. And I just won't cut it because
this is real life. This is real life.
This is real life. And if I rearranged, it would never happen. Because Mel is so busy and popular, and she's speaking hither and thither.
Stab.
In demand, this lady is. In demand. So, welcome, Mel. I mean, obviously, we've known each other for a while now, and a little silly aside. When I think we connected online somewhere first, and then we met in person probably at an Atomicon, maybe. Was it?
I don't know. I can't remember when the first time was, but we've definitely both been at Atomicon and Creator Day together, and various other things, I think, as well. And then you're one of these people, because you're similar to my husband, because I get this feeling that people meet you and think, oh, I've got a new best friend. Because I met you and I thought, oh, we are kindred spirits. I've got a new best friend. And we had this stupid, childish little hand signal. And if we saw each other from across the room, we'd do this hand signal. And then I saw you at another conference doing a hand signal to another woman. I'm so sorry. And
it meant nothing.
It meant nothing. It meant nothing.
I'm not special, but
I love people, and I love your husband. He sounds great.
Yeah, he's very similar. Everybody thinks he's their best friend, and I'm like, no, he's like that with everyone. Enough about that. This feels. I was going to say I'm nervous. That would be a lie. I'm not nervous.
Come
I feel
on.
too old to be nervous. But you are a seasoned podcasting professional. You do it here, there and everywhere. You're doing it live at Creator Day this year. You did it live at Creator Day last year. So you're a very seasoned podcast host. So
now I feel nervous. Now I feel like I have to perform and cannot say But we keep the ums in. Perform. The ums are human. We're sounding like humans because we are humans.
Sometimes I edit those bits out because people really do have quite
there you go. Try editing that one out.
Severe word crutches, but
What's your word crutch?
Do you know? I don't know whether I have one, and message me, viewers/listeners, if you find one, because I did an advanced presentation course many moons ago, and they beat it out of you. Not literally, they beat it out of you.
It's one way.
And you had to stand up in front of everyone and deliver a talk, and people had to pick out every time you used an or a or an etc. or whatever.
Oh, that sounds horrible, Miss. She said
fun.
She just said
She said
You just said actually. That sounds horrible, but also incredibly useful.
It was really good, and it wasn't done in a nasty way. But enough about me. It's all about you, Mel. It's all about you. So tell me more about your podcast, as if we didn't know, but tell me about it.
Okay. Indie Business Club is you did a beautiful intro to it. It's the podcast for freelancers, founders and independent business owners. And it started out just a chat between two mates. I originally had a co-host, Ben, who you know. And he left the podcast towards the end of kind of autumn time in 2025. I didn't say last year, so this will stay evergreen. And he went, after he left, I was like, how am I going to take it forward? I just said And I decided to have a series of rotating guest co-hosts. So we talk about any subject to do with being your own boss. It's very loose, very, very loose. So topics like how to price up jobs, how to find clients. I think I describe it in my intro as the pleasures and pitfalls of working for yourself, because as you know, there are many, many pleasures, like having as many best friends as you like, because you can go and meet loads of amazing people who are, you know, like-minded and vibe with you. And also the pitfalls, as you know, are many and varied. So yeah, we talk about everything to do with being your own boss. And I've had people tell me that they had started listening to it when they were employed and like used it as not necessarily inspiration, but more like as a way to kind of learn about what it's going to be like before going freelance. So that's dreamy feedback to me, because that's what happened to me with Freelancer magazine. Is I kind of started learning about what other people's experiences are of being freelance before then making the leap myself.
Oh, how wonderful.
That's a bit cheesy, isn't it? That. I don't care.
It's not cheesy. It's not cheesy.
Don't care.
No, don't care. So what was that the goal that you set out to do? Like, I see quite a few people holding themselves back from starting a podcast. Like, what held me back from starting any kind of show was the work, quite frankly. Like, I've got to a point where I don't have that self-checking. Who cares? Like, some people are worried. Who cares about me? Who am I to do this? Like, I didn't have that when I started this show. But I know a lot of people did. Did you have that? Did you have this, oh my gosh, who am I to start a podcast? Who's going to listen to it? Did you have that sort of fear?
Not really. And I think the reason for that is the same as with putting myself out there on LinkedIn, putting videos out there, posting online. If you can, it sounds so cheesy, and Dan Nelkin says this as well, who's another copywriter over in Canada. If you can just help one person, then it is really, it's very satisfying. And you think how much you know about business and the experiences you've had in your business. If you're someone who's only a week behind you in their business journey, for want of a less wanky term, they will be able to learn things from you, even if it's watching what you do, learning about what you do and how you do things, and going, I'm never doing it like that. Even if they're repulsed by the way you do business and don't like it, it's still been useful for them to listen and think about. And I think especially with freelancers, we spend so much time working on the business, or in the business rather. We don't actually take the moment to step out and think of the bigger plan and how we deal with clients, how we position ourselves, how we manage client expectations before we even start having a discovery call. There's so many elements to freelancing that until you hear how someone else does it, you just kind of go with your gut instinct. And I think it's really valuable to have discussions about how you do things. So I didn't go in thinking, what if no one listens? I went in thinking, I know that there are people who will find elements of what I'm saying useful, so I'm just gonna go for it. And it wasn't started with Ben as let's smash download numbers and let's monetize. It wasn't done with any plan other than just sharing the kind of the knowledge that we had and the discussions that we were already having anyway.
So it wasn't really a, hey, look at our marketing strategy.
No.
If we did a podcast, then we could raise our visibility here and increase audience numbers there.
Well, it certainly was to raise visibility. It was definitely like that was one of the things. One of the things we wanted to get out of it was potentially having more speaking gigs ourselves, and to kind of just get our names out there. So I'm not going to say there wasn't that element as well, because we love to be visible, don't we, Janine?
Oh, that's what this is all about. That's what this
Exactly.
show is all about, really. Is it's twofold.
Tell me the folds.
Fold one is when you, like me, have been told not to show off as a child, and then you realise you are a show-off and you want to show off. So there's that. But some people are not natural show-offs and they don't seek the limelight. So it's, how do you get visible? How do you show off? It might feel like showing off.
Yeah.
But it's in a way that feels good, feels fun, feels natural, and that's what it sounds like your podcast was. It's just like, I think, I've benefited reading the Freelancer magazine. It helped me. If I do a podcast version-ish of that, I know it will help at least one or two people, and that's enough for me. And I'm going to have a nice chat with my friend Ben, and
just having a nice time, and
what comes naturally, what you enjoy.
And that's the thing. Like when you say that, do what comes naturally. I think that's something that I see people struggle with a bit when they feel like they have to listen to the LinkedIn gurus or the Instagram huns that tell you exactly how you should promote your business. And video is the prime example of you have to be on video. And I think it's brilliant because you get to see how people, you get to see how their faces move, and you get to match the voice to the face instead of just seeing like a tiny little picture. But I get why people don't like it. And if you're confident writing online and you come across really opinionated and confident, and then you put a video out where you're just like this and you're talking really quietly because you fucking hate, sorry for swearing, but you can beep that bit out. You flipping hate being on camera.
Jolly well hate it.
And you just come across like really nervous. Then that's not putting across who you are as your actual personality. So I do think we should be visible in ways, like you said, that come more, if we can lean into the bits that come naturally. And for us, it's having a yap, isn't it? We love a yap.
Yeah, I love a lap. Yap.
You can love a lap too, no judgment.
I love, I'm imagining a bowl of cream.
Oh, I was thinking of a cat on a lap. How interesting how our heads went to different places there. Probably says something about our personalities, but let's not dive into that.
Let's not divulge. Yeah, it's interesting because I can almost read the minds of the people who might be watching this, because there's a line to walk, isn't there? Because we're saying do what comes naturally, but for instance, when I first started video, and I love larking about on video, I love being on a stage.
You're very good at it.
If I'm just going to own that because I love it. Like if somebody starts looking at me, I'm like, I start showing off and I start like trying to crack a joke or something, and it comes across. But I would never have said I was a natural, because to begin with, to actually get my face on camera, I didn't do it until I was knocking on the door of 40. And
you're never 40.
My first. I'm 49, darling.
You're not.
Stop faux complimenting me, because I'm awful and I'll just fall for it every time.
Well, this is this thing of like, you shouldn't tell women that they look good for their age, should you? Because it's like, but I look my age because that's how old I am, and I look
49, and that's how old I look. So,
but I am brilliant. But I will say that I'm surprised. That's all.
Oh, whatever.
That's all I'm going to say.
Whatever.
Not that you're over 40, but that you're that.
I am well over 40. I'm 50 this year. It's great. I'm privileged and honoured.
Oh, absolutely! I love it. Just side note, I love aging. I'm trying to love aging, and as you say, it's an absolute privilege. Absolute privilege to get older. Yes. And visibility is so much more important as you age as well, because women. Oh, I've just gone off on a manifesto rant. Sorry, but us women, tangent, but as you know, we're told to. Sorry, I'll stop. Because that's going to go off for now.
And I'm going to forget her name now, but I was having a conversation with a woman on LinkedIn the other day who'd posted a video, and she wasn't all airbrushed, and she just turned up and she was like, I just feel like women need to be more visible, and this is me. And she was mid-50s, and she was like, look, I've got marionette lines, I've got a turkey neck, and I've got all these aging signs. But this is my face, and you can't let it stop you, and you've got to be visible. And I was like, God, yeah, because just because you've got signs of aging, like, we need to see older women's faces.
Yeah.
People in Hollywood are being, shrunk, and makeup and Botox and plastic surgery as standard. And it's not normal.
People don't know what someone that age looks like. Yes.
No.
This is it.
We need more old faces. Yeah. So
I'm going to lean in. I'm going to lean in and scrunch.
Scrunch.
Sorry, that was a terrible sound for anyone that's just listening.
Yeah.
Rather than
You're not
watching.
quite as scrunchable as me. You need another good 15 years on you.
before you can, Sorry, we could spend the next 10 minutes just pulling faces at each other. I'm joke, but yeah. we literally could do that. I was saying that I was on a podcast called Happier Grey, about people who are choosing to go grey. And then people challenge you. You can't see it. You can't see them. They are there. I've got lots of greys, or unicorn sparkle hair, as my children call it. And I was making that exact point you just did, that we've forgotten what a 50-year-old face looks like, or a 60-year-old face looks like, because it's so become the norm. And, each to their own, caveat, for people to have Botox and fillers and stuff, that we then think, like, there was a clip of Claire Danes. She was in a programme, I can't remember what it's called, it was good though, and she was pulling so many like expressive faces with her natural face that people were saying she was AI. It was like, no, that's what a woman that age is supposed to look like. That's those wrinkles are, that's called acting as well. Anyway, back to visibility. As a freelancer. Sorry. It's all on a it's all related. It's related. It's all related. Sorry, you knew when you had me come on that we would take some diversions. I think you knew that. This is fine. This is good. This is standard. I like the diversions. It's part of the fabric of life. And anyway, getting it back on track. So you set up your business and you started doing a podcast. And were you ever afraid? So you weren't afraid to start a podcast. You didn't have those fears of being visible necessarily. But did you have that hesitation to put your face and voice out there to begin with at all? I want to come across as super relatable right now and say, yes, it was really scary. But I don't know if I did. I don't know. I don't know if I did. Why? How did that happen? Like, were you supported as a child? Were you nurtured and celebrated for being you? I mean, no, is the short answer, without going too far into the murky depths of childhood traumas and things. No, I don't have any way to explain it other than I've decided to love myself and be confident, which no, that's good. We should all love us. I know, and as soon as I pulled a face, I thought I shouldn't pull a face at that, because that's what we should want for everyone, and people should be happy for me that I love myself. But it is an insult, isn't it? Oh, she loves herself, and it shouldn't be. It should be, isn't that lovely that she loves herself? But I just decided, I guess, and I know that isn't immensely helpful, because other people might feel like they can't just decide to, but without getting too into being a mindset wanker, I do think there's so much to be said for the way you talk to yourself. And I think having daughters, I've got 2 daughters, having daughters especially made me kind of think to myself, I'm not gonna go, oh, my thighs are fat. Oh, I don't like how my nose looks. The nose that is exactly the same as my kid's nose, by the way. She's like carbon copy. So I remember my mum being like, oh, sorry, you've got my nose or whatever. I'm like, what? No, I don't like that message. So I was determined not to do that with my children. And I was determined to try and make them body positive and all that stuff. And I guess if you tell yourself something enough, then it kind of, I think the mind is so powerful that you can step into a bit of a kind of pretend role for a bit, and then it becomes who you are. So I used to hate having my photo taken. I used to hate people seeing my teeth and in pictures, and I was like, but they're going to see my teeth when I'm in person, because they're not going anywhere. If I talk to people, they're going to see my teeth. And I think it's just a series of little decisions to just not let stuff bother me. It's still awkward especially I think the awkward thing is if you try and deliver something to camera that is semi-scripted, that feels a little bit awkward. But you've got the beauty of editing, and if you want, you can just record it a million times and pick the best bit. So I don't think that's especially helpful. Just get over yourself.
I think it is. I think it is, because for some people, like you say, not all people, but for some people, awareness is half the battle. Oh, hang on a minute. I hate my thighs because my mum told me that she hated her thighs. They might notice that and then say, do you know what, I'm going to decide, I'm going to take some action, I'm going to decide to smile at myself every morning in the mirror and say, I
do this. This is a new thing I'm trying to do. Every time I catch my reflection in anything, I try and go and like being nice to ourselves. Why is that? Why is it so? That doesn't come naturally. That doesn't come naturally at all, I don't think. Or maybe it does, and then we get.
I think for some people it does, but again, I think that's something that they've been taught. Years. I mean, when Bridget Jones first came out, I thought it was charming. I thought it was charming the way she berated herself, and I don't know whether I was already doing it, but I started berating myself. Oh, stupid woman! Why did you do that, stupid Janine? Now I correct myself. I notice it. If I find myself, and if anybody else, like if I've done something wrong or I've forgotten something, they say, oh, did you forget that? Yes, but that's reasonable because I have 10 million things on my mental load.
Yes.
And I'm not feeling very well at the moment. So, like nobody comes at me for forgetting anything, for dropping something. Like, well, I dropped that. That's a natural mistake that every human makes once or twice in their life or whatever. I do not berate myself at all.
I love that.
So
that's basically like a very I don't want to simplify what it is, but cognitive behavioral therapy is based on that, recognizing what your thoughts are. I have never done it. I don't know the ins and outs. That's why I'm like caveating it with pop psychology. But it's basically recognizing your thoughts and trying to correct them in real time. And I don't know, maybe I've just kind of managed to do that by myself somehow.
Yeah.
Probably because of the kids thing, mostly.
Yeah. So you went through childhood. You sort of, all of us inherit scripts and unhelpful thought patterns and things. Was there a tipping point where you thought, hang on a minute? Was it in childhood? Did you notice it in childhood, or did you notice it later, or did it just happen gradually? Was there a moment, or?
I think I've always had. And again, this isn't very relatable or likeable of me, but we don't care about that, do we? Being likeable. I think I've always felt like I could do anything. I've always had this, but I've never had, until my late 30s when I first went freelance and became a copywriter and stuff, I never had the motivation, it was never that golden combination of belief, motivation and skill to do something. So it's kind of like drifted around and I wasn't really that bothered. But I remember being like in my early teens and just truly believing that I would, if I chose something and just worked at it, I'd be able to do well in it. But I never found that thing, didn't even look for that thing really. It kind of just happened in some training I was doing. Just did some copywriting training and was like, this is the thing. And then once I did have my thing, and that combination of being good at something, feeling motivated, and having the confidence, it's worked well. It's worked well. So I think I've always had that thing of like the belief that I could do something. It just never really found the thing until now. Sounds very grand. I don't walk around thinking, I've found my thing and I'm so good at it. But it's more like if you find the thing that I mention it like the kind of the thing that keeps winking at you. If you find something that's like, I'm being drawn to this thing, and you follow it and you work really hard at it, I think that's where the magic happens.
Yeah. Well, at the risk of being really annoying and sound like a broken record, so there was nothing that gave you that confidence. There was nothing that you can think of, like an event or something where you're like, do you know what? Oh, that seems too hard. No, I did it, and then you were like, woo! I can do anything forever.
It wasn't an event as such, but a series of little events, tiny tweet-sized events, I guess. When I went on Twitter, started on Twitter when I was still employed, I'd done my copywriting course through work, and the Freelancer magazine thing had been winking at me, and I just played around on Twitter, doing little tweets as they may they rest in peace, etc. And I realised that I was good at writing something that people would engage with, and that so it wasn't like a one-off thing, but that really built up my confidence to then go freelance. And I think the thing that sounds a bit mean-spirited, but I'm going to say it anyway, is the thing that really gave me the confidence was seeing the quality of work that other copywriters were putting out there, people who'd been around for quite a long time. And sometimes I would see their work and I would be able to go, well, I don't think this is good because of these reasons. And I wouldn't say that to them, obviously, but I was able to kind of analyse what was already out there, look at ways I think it could be done a bit better. I'm pulling a face because I realise it sounds a bit mean. I don't like talking about terrible writing in public too much, because I think there's a person behind that, and you don't know what levels of amends have been put through by other people, people up above. There's always, you can sometimes tell when a great copywriter has had their line butchered, or there's a subline to clarify that didn't need to be there, and they should just trust the audience to be able to understand. So it's not always the writer's fault, but I was seeing some writing out there that I was like, it's a bit like public speaking, isn't it? When you see, if you're at the beginning of that kind of journey and you see people speaking on stage and you think, I feel like I could do that at least as well as they do it. That can be inspiring, even though it sounds a little bit mean. That can be really inspiring, seeing other people do stuff not as well as you would be able to do it.
I think you're being very tactful and you're couching it, and
I am a little bit because I don't want to sound horrid.
But I think it's extremely relatable, because I think everyone in their field, like, this is the number one issue, I reckon, is in my target market, who are coachy people, coachy consultants. They can see people who don't care as deeply as them, who potentially aren't as talented as them, who potentially haven't got as much experience as them, not as many qualifications, a mixture of those things. And they can see other people just being bolder, more confident, louder, more visible, and showing off or whatever. And they're getting the work, and I'm sure their clients are happy enough, but they're sat there thinking, like, why are they going to them? Well, the reason is they're more visible, and they're just bolder about who they're working with, and they're clearer about who they're working with. So I think every single person listening to this can relate. And
I'm not arrogant enough to think that there aren't people out there going, why is she on Janine's podcast? Who's she? That I'm well aware that to some people I will be the person that they look at and go, but she's not even that good. Like, there'll be people out there who, I hope dear listener, if that's you, I hope I inspire you to put yourself out there. Maybe Janine will ask you to be on.
I think you've uncovered something else there, because I think that's another fear. I think people are simultaneously thinking, gosh, why are they getting all the work? I'm sure I would work harder, be better, whatever, care more. But at the same time, they're like, gosh, what if I do put myself out there and somebody sees that I'm not as good as them? Like, you're not as good. You're not, whoever's watching this, you are not the best at what you do.
Yeah.
Like, who is?
There might be somebody out there.
There must be one person, but out of the millions of people in the world doing what you do, you can't possibly be the best. So you just got to believe that you're good enough and lean into it. I think we're uncovering nuggets here.
Nuggets galore. One of the very humbling things about my recent life is working with possibly the most famous copywriter in the UK, Dave Harland.
Never heard of him.
I just never heard of him. Who is he? Who is he? Yeah, but he is very famous, but it's in a pretty tiny circle of the internet. So I'm well aware some people listening might not know who he is. Dave Harland is a Well, I've said it already. He's a copywriter, and he's excellent at what he does, obviously. And so I don't have any ego that I bring to things, because I know that my writing can be improved, will be improved by having that relationship where you can be honest and say, and I think that's really useful to people, especially as freelancers. If you've got other people in your field that you can run something by, that you can spark with, that you can go back and forth and have that creative kind of table tennis between you, I think that can make you a lot better. And it can be useful for accountability as well. If you're like setting yourself up with a goal to post a video every week or something like that, if you've got someone else that can, that's not a goal that we've set, by the way. Let me just really quickly, just let me backtrack slightly. We're not going to be posting videos that often, but we are certainly trying to post more videos, and like having a partner that you can be accountable to is really, really, really useful and inspiring, because you want to, make each other better at stuff.
Oh, love that. Mel, tell me about luck. You said we might end up talking about this naturally, but we haven't, so I'm just going to sharp segue. Tell me about luck and your relationship with it.
Well, we have actually talked about it, just not explicitly calling it luck, Janine. That sounded so scripted. I apologise for going into podcast voice then. Because luck is things like, I've mentioned putting myself out there on Twitter, learning my craft of tweeting quick thoughts, and posting on LinkedIn, and we talked a bit about putting video out there, and about how we've met at conferences quite a lot. So one of the major influencers of luck is how many people you know and how wide your network is. So in studies, they found that lucky people they determined whether they're lucky or unlucky through like questionnaires of what happens in their life and stuff. And lucky people tend to be the ones who have much bigger networks of people that they talk to. They're the ones that will strike up a conversation at the bus stop and make there's a bit of small talk here and there. They'll meet people. They'll put themselves out there, going to networking events. They grow their network intentionally. And the unlucky people tend to be a bit more kind of blinkered in their lives, so they don't notice stuff as much. I mentioned the term like winking at me as something that, like, I follow things that wink at me. So if I keep seeing something that's like, ooh, that's piquing my interest, I won't just kind of, I won't dismiss it. I'll listen to that kind of, that gut instinct I've got about stuff. And that's something that lucky people do. They follow their gut. And it makes sense when you think like how many hundreds of thousands of years we've had of honing our instincts and knowing, like being able to tell whether something's going to be good or bad for us. I think if we listen to our gut a bit more, I think it's massively helpful in business. Luck is something that we can't, I'm not saying that you can control every aspect of your life, but it's certainly not this mysterious force that is something that happens to us. I think we can be, a lot of people can be way more proactive than they are in courting luck, bringing it into their lives.
Well, I love that. Where did you find it? I mean, that sounds like almost the basis of a thesis or something. Like, where is this stuff that you've learned through your own life, or have you read a book on it, or did you watch that thing with Darren Brown a few years ago?
Bit of both. I'm actually reading Happy by Darren Brown at the moment. His book Happy. No, I haven't seen I'll have to check out.
It was really good. You'll have to go and check it out. It was a good few years ago. I mean, gosh, it might be 10 years ago, but he did a limited series on luck, and he found a couple of people, one who thought of themselves as very lucky and one of them thought of themselves as very unlucky, and he sort of followed them around and watched their behaviours.
Yeah.
And the difference was, this will not surprise you, but the person who saw themselves as lucky was more open, and like he put things in front of them, like he put an unused scratch card in front of them that was geared to give them 50 quid or something, and the lucky person picked it up and scratched it. The unlucky person had the blinkers on.
This is
and
exactly
he put the same. Yeah, he did exactly what you're describing. He put opportunities in front of both of them, exactly the same opportunities, and the unlucky person just had the blinkers on and just had this mindset of there's nothing good is going to happen. I'm an unlucky person. He just didn't, because of that programming, he didn't notice all the opportunities.
And that's where the mindset wanker thing comes in again, because I'll go back to, you asked me a question like, how did I get into it? I used to be a careers advisor, ironically, because I didn't know what I wanted to do. My motivation and direction was lacking, as I've already said. And one of the theories that I covered that just was so drawn to was about happenstance. It's the proper, career theory. There's a book on it and everything. And that is about how our careers are so not in our own control, and the sooner we realise that and recognise it and lean into that, the better. So instead of it being this linear thing that it used to be, you get a job and you'd do it and get better, get promoted. It's such a patchwork now, and to be effective in your career and be fulfilled in your career, I think you need to be willing to look left and right and down and look at the options, the opportunities, and be willing to take a step down sometimes to learn things. So that really spoke to me and changed how I view my own career. And then fast forward to, I think it was a couple of years ago, I was on holiday and I listened to the audiobook of Richard Wiseman's The Luck Factor. And he is a psychologist who's done experiments. I wonder if he did them with... I wonder if Darren Brown had him involved in this programme, actually, because the quite famous experiment that Richard Wiseman did was to plant £5 notes. So a bit like the scratch card example you used, £5 notes. And the people who'd categorised themselves as lucky were way more likely to spot it and pick it up. And the ones that were unlucky just weren't paying attention to their surroundings. So yeah, listening to that book was like, oh my gosh, this is so true. And I then tried to kind of apply some of that stuff. The other thing, the mindset thing, one of the 4 factors is that lucky people go into a situation expecting a good outcome. And I think that is the things that changes, it's not like a manifest and the universe will give it to you. It's not some mysterious thing. It's not The Secret. It's, if you go in thinking something good's going to happen, your entire demeanour is different. You're more open. Your body language is open. You might be more likely to have a little... I'm not saying smile, ladies. I don't mean it like that. But you're more likely to look approachable. And so I think that's something that we can try and train ourselves to do, is to go into stuff, like you said at the beginning, about how did you get the confidence to... or did you feel nervous about putting yourself out there, putting videos out there and stuff? I think as you go into it assuming that it's going to go well, that can be a very powerful thing. And it's not always going to go well, but if it doesn't go well, one of the other luck factors is lucky people learn from bad things happening or things not going so well. They'll learn from it and they'll change their behaviour. One example in Richard Wiseman's book is about a woman who just has car accident after car accident after car accident, and she just puts it down to her being unlucky and doesn't do anything to improve her driving skills, or pay better attention, or there are some things that are out of our control, but we need to... That's that whole what is the actual phrase? Is it from Alcoholics Anonymous or something? That is, give me the wisdom to know the difference between what you can control. I've just said it the wrong way. Yeah, I mean, it's so true that we need to look at the things we can have an influence on and really try and influence those things, and not worry too much about the things we can't have any impact on. But know that it isn't just that this force of luck in the universe is deciding on a coin flip whether they're going to screw you over. It's not. There's no one out to get you. And I think realising that and leaning into the whole idea of being more visible. And I'm sure you know Daniel Priestley. He's got a book called Key Person of Influence, or Key People of Influence, KPI. And he talks about how to become a key person of influence. And a lot of it is putting yourself in rooms with people who are already doing what you want to be doing. And it sounds so obvious, but like, you can learn so much from other people who've already kind of got to where you want to be. Luckily, I read that after I became friends with Dave Harland, so I know I didn't become friends with him like as a as a tactic.
Sure.
Dave, if you're listening, I promise I love you as a person, not just because you're really famous.
Why do you think I became friends with you, Mel? Yeah.
No, hang on, you've got this the wrong way around. I'm riding on your coattails here. Did you think it was the other way around? Because it is this way around.
Are we both clueless and lacking influence? Mel, this has been amazing. We could talk all day, but we can't.
And we would. We absolutely would.
We would. But I will see you soon at an event near you or me or wherever, and we will pick this up again. Thank you so much for being on here. Is there anything else that you would like to share? Obviously, we're going to put the link to your podcast in the show notes and everywhere that I share this. Would you like to invite people to connect with you, or
always?
What would you like
find me. I hang around on LinkedIn way too much, so I'd love people to connect with me there. And I just want to say thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I'm sorry I've taken us on some rambles off in different directions.
Rambles,
but it was inevitable.
Fabulous.
It was inevitable.
It was inevitable and also enjoyable. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
You have witnessed the show off with Janine Coombs. If you liked it, hit that subscribe button and share with your friends. For more episodes, go to janinecoombs.co.uk/show off.